Welcome back to the Forbidden Land podcast. It's a new year. It's a new me. We scrapped the first part of the episode because it was horrible. I had recorded like 15 minutes, or not even. I recorded like 10 minutes of an episode, and then I was like, I don't like where this conversation I'm having is going, because it's kind of annoying and boring, and I'm rambling on. But yeah. So here we are with a fresh episode. I'm looking white as ever, as shiny as ever. It's the new year. I just received news that I'm going to be crowned the new king of Denmark in about 2 weeks. The queen just announced yesterday that she will be stepping down in 2 weeks. So I'm recording this on January 1st. On the 14th, she will be stepping down. And as someone named Dane, I claim my rightful place on the Denmark throne. And there's nothing they can do to stop me. So yeah, as someone named Dane, I feel like I have every right to take hold of the Danish throne. I dare someone to come up with a good argument against why I shouldn't become the new 80-year-long ruler of Denmark, and I only give up the throne when I finally decide to die. So, because I will never die, obviously. So probably not good to start off the new year by saying that. But yeah, that's just the facts. I just won't die. You know, this lighting's really not good towards my facial features. Not a huge fan. And this isn't either. Wow, I just really upped the exposure on me. Yoink. There. I think the purple and red actually suits my pale ass skin tone a little better than this. So yeah, I'm gonna be crowned the new God King of Europe and the world in 2 weeks. Speaking of that, the podcast is back. New year. I think we're on year 7, if we're still counting the previous years where I had like 3 episodes come out. So year 7, year 2 of consistent uploading is what I would actually say. So yeah, we got all new stuff. We have a new set of graphics for the thumbnails and whatnot that I made. Hopefully I'm gonna have a new logo soon. And then also a new branch of the podcast, a live version of it. I still won't say the name, but it would basically be where I live stream it on my main channel. The stream goes unlisted after that, and then I upload the actual stream of it as a podcast episode on this channel, and it goes up on streaming platforms. And yeah, that would be the plan. So, new live version of the podcast. I might do a different setting for the podcast at some point. I'd have to find a good spot that's somewhat secluded that will also support my battery and everything. So I don't know if it would be a very long episode, but yeah. So to start off the new year right, I figured lighthearted topic. Who wouldn't want to talk about this? First day back on January 1st. I believe this actually goes up on like January 6th or something. But lighthearted topics. Let's talk about it. Israel. Actually, this is actually good news. The UN voted against Israel's genocide, and South Africa filed with the UN, basically accusing Israel of committing war crimes. So that is actual good news. I didn't want to make a joke out of it. I pretty much bailed on the joke immediately, because I didn't want to call it good news even as a joke. But the death toll in Gaza now is almost 30,000 as of yesterday. So not funny joke material, but actual good news is that a country that obviously knows what apartheid looks like, they're filing, uh, basically accusations against the IDF and Israel that they are committing a genocide. So that's some good news. The UN took a vote of whether or not the Palestinians have a right to self-determination, and it was like every country except for four voted yes. Surprise, surprise, the four countries that voted no were the U.S. and their satellite state, Israel, and like two islands that have U.S. support that basically wouldn't exist without the U.S. But God, my nose is getting all stopped up trying to talk about this. It's the IDF, dude. They're trying to stop me. It's the CIA. Ugh. But yeah. So that's some good news. Where it will go, who knows? The UN seems to have little to no power against Israel. It seems. I don't know if they could even try Israel in a court. It seems somewhat unlikely that they could do that based on how many failed votes they've taken. How stupid is that the UN takes a vote, right, on something like Israel's committing genocide, right? Let's say they take a vote on that. Why does Israel get to vote on that? Isn't that a conflict of interest? You don't let the defendant decide in the jury trial. You don't let them be a part of the jury. If the UN's like, hey, we need to put a check on this one country, they're doing things that a lot of experts consider genocide. Why is the accused allowed to have a say in whether or not they are doing the thing they're accused of? And also the fact that in all these votes, the U.S. has so much power. When the U.S. votes no on this kind of stuff, it doesn't go anywhere. Why is one country allowed to decide? A country of 350 million people allowed to decide on matters like this? Like, we're the sole arbiter, apparently. This doesn't make any sense, So, it doesn't seem like we're any closer to a ceasefire. I think the Israeli government just came out and said that this war could last. I think it was actually Netanyahu or one of his advisors that were like, this war is going to last a lot longer. And I'm like, is this just our new Ukraine, that this war is going to last like a couple years, and like by now people have already forgotten that there even is a war in Ukraine? We're coming up on the second anniversary of the Ukrainian war, and people have just seemingly forgotten that there is a war going on. And then we're just going to do the same thing with this. Look at how many people are dying in this one too. The Gaza invasion, like, look at how many people have died now. I think they've killed more people in 3 months than the U.S. killed in Iraq in like an 8-month period or something like that. Some crazy statistic like that. But me and John will probably talk about this more in a future episode, if not the next episode. So yeah, we'll probably get into that more. I don't want to make this episode too political, but at the same time, what else am I going to talk about? That's kind of my bread and butter, is talking about politics. One thing that does aggravate the shit out of me is John Fetterman. John Fetterman who ran as a progressive, who called himself a progressive, granted the other option was Dr. Oz, so really he could have just phoned it in as like the liberal candidate, because who the fuck is going to vote for Dr. Oz? But John Fetterman campaigned as a progressive, has called himself a progressive for years and years. And, my heart rate's high. I'm like, why am I passing out while talking? But he's called himself a progressive for years, and it seems that he is now claiming he's not a progressive, and has also done a heel turn on progressive policy. He seems to be pulling a Kyrsten Sinema and a Joe Manchin, where he realizes I'm one of the few Democrats in the Senate that can flip the balance in the Senate right now. I really am getting really lightheaded right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to just start chugging water while I'm talking. So, he basically came out in support of Israel, which is, a stark contrast from progressives like Bernie Sanders, who are calling for a ceasefire, which I don't care how much parasocial, not even parasocial, chronically online Twitter tries to say it. I'm so annoyed with Twitter that they're all up in Bernie Sanders' replies. Being like, took you this long to call for a ceasefire. He called for a ceasefire years ago during the 2021 Gaza bombings. He basically didn't his social media team just didn't explicitly call it a ceasefire this time until about 2 months in. It's just so chronically ill online for people to be like, I know you're the most progressive person in the Senate right now that's calling for Israel to stop. I know that you're the most valuable voice against the IDF's actions right now, especially as a progressive Democrat who's also Jewish. Very valuable voice. One of the more outspoken senators, but because he didn't say the phrase ceasefire, everyone's basically in his replies being like, what are you, a Zionist? Why aren't you calling for... And it's like, chill out, man. We already don't have that many people in the government advocating for our side. Like, work with him here. He's not even the one tweeting. God. Damn. He's not even the one running the account. Like, let's chill out. Anyways, let me not get sidetracked. So John Fetterman is officially now going back on everything that he was saying before and just saying like, oh, no, I'm not a progressive. I'm just a Democrat. That's basically what he says is, no, I'm just a Democrat. God, I miss Google white theme. As usual, the classic, Dane doesn't pull up any news articles about it beforehand. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Why is that the first picture that comes up? Why is this the first thing that pops up when I look up John Fetterman? Oh my God. All right. Yeah, the whole thing right now is that he's talking about his mental health, which kind of goes against, like, it kind of like obscures the news cycle about what he recently said. Let's see. Yeah, defining a heel turn, padding the article. Yeah, MSNBC reporting on it. Despite campaigning as progressive in 2020, in 2020. Wait, how long has he been a senator? Since last year, I thought. Anyways, he's now rejecting the label, telling NBC and other outlets that he's not a progressive. And he breaks with the left on some hot button issues. Interesting. What are some of those issues? Does it go over that in this article? My God. This is the quality of political commentary and research you'll get from this show, folks. Me live reading the article because I didn't bother to actually look it up beforehand. Mostly because I didn't know I was going to talk about this. Oh, is it pivoting now to other politicians? I forgot about that one. There was that person in North Carolina that was in like a local position and she just swapped from Democrat to Republican, basically flipping the like the balance in that chamber. Ran on an abortions right. Yeah, ran on abortions rights. Um, yeah, she basically flipped her party and became like a majority Republican state house. I remember reading about her, and I remember being like, "What a fucking ass that you do that. That's clearly just for attention." I hate these people that get in office and then immediately uh, are like, "Well, I have all this power now. I'm gonna, I'm just gonna flip my party, or I'm going to stay in my party like Joe Manchin and hold the entire party at gunpoint." Uh, I forgot about her. Let's see, the one from Georgia is news to me. Voice support for right wing initiatives such as school vouchers and a bill designed to punish Georgia prosecutors who won't abide by right wing legislatures' criminal justice priorities. I've never heard about her. Oh, that's interesting. Latest party switcher. What district does she represent? Oh, she's not winning re-election, right? Weird. What district? Oh my god. It locked it. Is she a rural Democrat? Is that what it is? I can just look up her name and it'll tell me what district she represents. She is from. No way she swapped parties and she represents Southwest Atlanta and Atlantic Station. Oh no. Oh dude, she fucked up. Ain't no way she's getting reelected. There's no way. You couldn't pick a worse district to flip in. I feel like that shouldn't be allowed, right? Like shouldn't that be illegal? That once you get elected under that party, you cannot swap parties unless you're running for reelection. Like you have to stay that party in the government, but if you run for reelection, you want to swap parties, then you just run as that party. But you still are your original party in the position that you're actually running, and you still have to vote with your party. Like how how do these people get away with that? When you vote in a Democrat and then they don't hold up their end of the deal, like like Joe Biden, me and John talked about it in our episode that we did in November, where when we voted for Joe Biden, we thought, okay, student loan forgiveness, and codified abortion rights and new voting rights laws, all this progressive stuff, universal health care, which a pipe dream, I'm sure we didn't actually think he was going to be able to get that done, but universal health care was being advocated for by uh you know Kamala Harris, and even Joe Biden was talking about Medicare for all. And you know then he gets into office and the only progressive thing he did was pull out of Afghanistan. And then he's like, "Oh, we're going to forgive student loans, Jack, but only like up to a certain amount." And I think the Supreme Court is like striking that down. Here, another fantastic bit of me researching this. Biden student loan forgiveness. Let's see. The plan includes loan forgiveness up to 20,000. Okay. Um that's not a good sign when this article headline reads, "Student loan forgiveness isn't dead yet." Yikes. That's not a good thing to read. Um Man, my blood sugar must be low or something, cuz I am Here. Actually, I'll do it in a second. I want to do a little bit with this. Yeah, because they started up the loan collection after October, and like 9 million people didn't pay, which is insane numbers. But he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna forgive loans and all this stuff," and then it just never happened. I feel like with representatives and people like that, there should be some kind of like fine in place if there wasn't even an attempt made. There should be some kind of like fraud charge, right? Like with George Santos, what he lied a bunch during his campaign, and they like kicked him out of the house. What's up with? They can do that, but we can't do that with like our other elected officials. If you run under the idea that you're under the idea that you're a Democrat and you're going to do Democrat things, and then you enter the Senate or the House or whatever, and then you flip parties, and then you never vote yes on anything that the Democrats want, or you never vote no on the things that they don't want. If you leave office by that point without doing any of the stuff that you promised in your campaign, there should be some kind of punishment. You know, I feel like there's this big misconception. Everyone thinks that when you're voted in to office, that you're immediately. Sorry, I just love having that picture on the screen. People think that when you're voted in when you elect people, they're going to Washington to vote for your interest, and unfortunately, that's the idea that you're sold. When you're in history class, you're told, "Oh yeah, they're going up there, and they're going to do exactly what you voted for them to do." And in reality, they go up there and they just do whatever they want. They're protected for a few years. They take bribes, which we call lobbying in this country, and they do whatever they want because they have free will as a human being. And so you vote for these people thinking, "Oh, they ran on Medicare for all, and now I'm voting for them, and so we're going to get Medicare for all." And in reality, they're going to get up to Washington and go, "Oh man, this pharmaceutical money is looking kind of tasty, and I really need a new car." And so they take the lobby money, and then they don't vote or even draft a bill for Medicare for all. And then people vote for them anyways because the alternative is like a Nazi in sheep's clothing. So not a very good. There aren't very good alternatives to these people, and it leads to just, yeah, I'll do. Have you seen that thing from the Biden campaign where they were like, "If you reelect us, you'll get a far more left-wing second term"? I'm like, bullshit, dude. No, we aren't. He's gonna get into office and he's gonna do this because him and his team know that when he gets reelected, he doesn't have to do fucking shit. There's no incentive for him to do anything else past his reelection. And that's why so many people that are on my part of the political spectrum don't want to vote. He hasn't called for a ceasefire, and he hasn't done any of the stuff that we voted him in for. All he's done is not be Trump, which is not the only thing we were voting on. That might be the thing that a lot of people were voting on, but not what we were voting on. And he's going to cost himself this re-election campaign if he doesn't do any of that stuff. So yeah, now we have a situation like this where one of the most progressive Democrats in the Senate is now out here getting his fifis hurt because no one likes his pro-Israel stance on the left. The people that voted him into office, the people that supported him, don't like his pro-Israel stance, and now he's out here crying about it. It says in the article, he says apparently, what I have found out over the last couple of years is that the right and now the left are hoping that I die. You know how much of an asshole statement that is? We have said nothing but good things about him. We all praised him, even ignoring what he said last year, or I guess now 2 years ago, about Israel. Ignoring all of that. We as the progressive left, have pretty much unequivocally supported him and are glad that a progressive left-wing guy is in the Senate now. One of the 50 or 51 senators in the Democratic Party are actually progressive, and apparently he's spun up some weird bullshit about the left wanting him to die, which I guarantee is more so moderate liberal Democrats who are not left-wing at all don't like him and don't like the whole thing about him wearing a hoodie to the Senate and shit like that. And he says there are ones that are rooting for another blood clot. Can we drop the metaphors here, people? Like, seriously, man, it's so cringe when I read shit like that. Just say you don't want to vote on shit that would make you not progressive, or on shit that would make you progressive. Just say you don't want to vote on stuff like that. It says in the article that the left is turning against him, and I've never seen this before, but I think it's hilarious that people are calling him supposedly Genocide John. What a hilarious hashtag. But it's for his support of Israel, where Israel's bombing the shit out of people in Gaza, regardless of who they are, and then claiming that they're terrorists afterwards. Once a darling of progressives, yada yada yada. Yeah, we used to associate him with Bernie Sanders. He says he now has a less rosy view of the left and says the label of progressive does not fit him anymore. This is the thing that I've learned about John Fetterman in recent days, is that John Fetterman takes a stance on something, and instead of changing his mind when people are calling him out, he digs his heels in. And the problem with that is that, like this, according to the article, he is rejecting calls for a ceasefire, filled the walls of the hallway outside his office with photos of the hostages taken by Hamas, draped himself in an Israeli flag, and even waved one provocatively in the face of a pro-Palestinian demonstrator. A large Israeli flag even hangs on the wall behind his desk, positioned to be visible in zoom shots. That is so extreme. That's beyond extreme. I want to find a video of him talking about it. Let's see. Is there any interview with him where he's talking about this? Let's see. What is this? No, that's from his campaign. I guess not. I want to see the flag in the background. Cause that's just too much. You know. Here's a photo of him with the flag around him. Also, that's funny that the Twitter logo is still up here. Look at this. This is him showing up with an Israeli flag draped around him. Is that really necessary? Look, if, you're still a bad person if you do this, but if you go, I don't know enough about the situation, I don't want to give an opinion on what Israel's doing to the Palestinians, you're still not a great person because you're not putting in any effort to learn this stuff, but you're not going as far as, I love Israel, I love what all of them are doing, and I'm going to go as far as draping myself in the flag of the oppressor and then going up to pro-Palestinian protesters and provoking them with that flag, with my stance. He's not going to win a re-election. If people remember this in 6 years, he's not winning an election again in Pennsylvania or whatever he represents. I don't know, actually. Maybe this makes him more popular with the Republicans, but I feel like once he loses the progressive base, who's voting for him in Pennsylvania? Dr. Oz, start taking notes. They're going to vote you back in. Or not back in, but they're going to vote you in, dude. This is according to the article, in forcefully inserting himself into an issue that has exposed a deep divide in the Democratic Party as the death toll has risen, he has shattered any lasting perception that he is a progressive warrior in lockstep with the left. Yeah, if I lived in Pennsylvania, I don't think I'd be voting for him after this. There's already a lot of people that I'm on the fence about. Like Joe Biden, I don't think I'm gonna. I'm really on the fence about voting for Joe Biden in this election. I'm not voting for Trump. Don't get me wrong. Trump's also a Zionist, so there's that. But there's a thousand other reasons not to vote for Trump. But this is making me teeter on the fence. Is the way that Biden's handling this whole thing. So anyways, you probably noticed that I am coughing a lot. Like Wednesday of last week, I woke up to go to work, and I was like, oh man, I have allergies. Sneezing, and I didn't feel good. And progressively throughout the day, it was getting worse. I was constantly having to blow my nose. I was constantly sneezing, and then finally, I went home, and the next day I had a fever. So I was basically sick for the last like few days of the year. And now, if I talk too long, I get like an itch in my throat that I can only get out by coughing or by drinking water. So, yeah, I was sick. I streamed a few days ago, and my voice is like completely shot out. I wonder if I can actually find a clip. Because actually, it gets worse towards the end of the stream too. Oh my god, here goes my watch again telling me to get up. My watch calling me fat again. Yeah, my voice starts to like give out at the end of sentences. This is just a few days ago. So, all right. Well, thank y'all for watching. Yeah. Literally, I can't even really speak in that stream. This is just a few days later and I am feeling a little better. But yeah, I definitely did not feel great. I've been like sucking down cough drops, taking Tylenol, basically like pulling out every method I can to get better. I think I finally did it. I think I feel good now. Good enough to film this, which this is probably the longest I've talked in at least a week. I will say though, throughout this episode, I'm getting really lightheaded, and I think my blood sugar might be really low right now. I was gonna pull out these. I bought these on sale. I bought a bunch of chocolate. So I got the chocolate caramel assortment, which is white chocolate caramel, milk chocolate caramel, and dark chocolate sea salt caramel. And then I got these holiday chocolate assortment, which is caramel, peppermint bark, and gingerbread cookie. So I'm gonna try the gingerbread cookie one because I've never had that one before. Because I need to get my blood sugar up. So I have this is now a taste testing episode. I have the gingerbread cookie one. It's milk chocolate gingerbread. And then maybe I'll eat like a peppermint bark one just to get my blood sugar up a bit more. These things are kind of interesting to try to open. All right. Here we are. Here it is. And now we eat. Interesting. I kind of don't like this one. Oh, well, actually, it's growing on me a little bit. Hmm. You know, not bad. But like, I guess I'm just like not much of a gingerbread guy. Let me get one of the peppermint bark ones out. I do like these, but I guess gingerbread just isn't really my thing. There's just a peppermint bark. No, this is a goated one. A little bit of a taste test segment. Nothing like that to start off the year. Yummy. Wow. Wonderful. Mm. It's like the worst thing I've ever done on here because I can't talk. I can only chew. Like occasional mouth noises picking up on the mic. Yum. Wow. All right, no more of that because I'm gonna like spoil my dinner. But my dinner is I'm gonna microwave a bag of garlic roasted potatoes, and then I'm gonna drink an Olipop root beer, and that's it. I'm gonna sit back, relax, watch a podcast that I've been waiting to watch until after this episode, and then maybe I'll twiddle my thumbs, check my list, check it twice. Maybe I'll finally move this giant ass giraffe behind me out of here. This is the Christmas giraffe. He see all my water bottles too. The Christmas giraffe comes in here every year in absence of a tree because I always forget to buy a tree. And he sits atop the presents and watches over them. And I've done this for 4 years now. This is the 4th Christmas I've done this. Usually I would put lights around him, but I was getting kind of scared that the lights were going to light him on fire, so I rejected that idea this year. But now it's January 1st, and he's still in here, and all the other Christmas decorations are sitting on the floor next to it, so I should probably do something about him being in here. There's some like ancient videos of mine that he's in the background of. I think I've had it for about 7 years now. It was a Christmas present of all things. And get this, I believe. So I saw one in the window of a shop, and my grandma was like, "Oh, you like that? You want one?" I thought she was kidding, so I jokingly was like, "Yeah, sure." And Christmas time rolls around, and she gives me one, and we haul it back home. And later on, I'm like, where could she have gotten something like that? Turns out that those are really popular in like cancer gift shops. If you have a kid with cancer, you probably recognize that giraffe because I have seen those giraffes in like gift shops that are in like children's cancer wards. Like they'll have like little gift shops that you can buy little stuffed animals or toys and whatnot for your kid if they have cancer. And I'm like, where did she buy this? Did she rob a kid with cancer from the experience of having this thing? Like what have we done? I've had this thing for 7 years. I'm not going to finish that sentence. But I think you can probably infer what I was going to say. But that's so awful. I just wonder where she got this thing from. It's very odd. So anyways, we're not going to dwell on that one for too long. This is an interesting beginning of the year episode, I got nothing to talk about as usual. It's just a certified classic. I think I showed the I showed it, the new borders. Here, we'll transition to this. This is what's playing for me right now on my speakers, but the new borders around the cameras are from the new thumbnail designs. And so yeah. So we're going to cut to our reporter in the field He's actually the one who told me that I'm going to be crowned King of Denmark. As exciting as that sounds. So we'll cut to him. We already did. And yeah, so that'll be the end of this episode. Maybe next it's a short one, but my throat hurts and more interesting stuff needs to happen to me for that for this episode to be longer than it already is. So we're gonna cut to our field reporter. He's gonna give a spoken word, and that'll be the end of the episode. So I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see y'all probably next week. So, all right, bye bye.